Hi friends and welcome back to Garfin's creation. I always like to try out new kitchen gadgets. This is a tart mold which you can use it as a toaster over the gas stove. After 5-6 attempts, these are the last 3 attempts that I feel is good to show you all. I tried using one of my recipes with this mold, but it turned out very crumbly. Second attempt too was a big failure. You can see how burned and very soft they turned out after cooling. And then I tried out another recipe which was much better than the previous ones. For this recipe I have taken 1 cup of Maida or all-purpose flour, and to this I had added half a teaspoon of baking powder. I'll also add a pinch of salt and mix all the 3 ingredients. Once mixed, I added 3 tablespoons of oil. You can also use butter or ghee in this place of oil. After adding the oil, I mixed that in well and I try to get a breadcrumb-like texture. You can mix this with a fork or also with your hands. Next, I had taken half a cup of milk and added that gradually into the flour. I added the milk till I get a nice soft dough from this. If you're watching this video from another country and you have purchased this mold, you may have probably got a recipe with it. Unfortunately, I did not get any recipe booklet with this, so thought of trying it on my own. I love the concept of making the tart without an oven. When I saw this product online, I thought I should get it immediately. So even though I have tried 5 or 6 attempts in making this, I'm still not satisfied with the results and will be surely trying out other ways as well. Coming back to this recipe, I will now continue kneading this dough till I get a nice soft dough. The tart mold is quite heavy and good quality aluminum. To use it over the gas stove, you need to make the dough nice and soft so that it gets pressed easily and takes the shape of the tart mold. It also has to get baked evenly while toasting it over the stove. So I finished kneading it and I kept it this very soft. And now using this dough, I start making the tarts. This is a nice and thick metal. It's of aluminium. It has a good length handle. It does not heat up while using it. And it has a good cavity depth. Then taking a lemon size of the dough, I tried putting it into the tart mold and pressing it, thinking it would take the shape. But it did not, so then I started rolling it out with a rolling pin. I rolled it out around 2.5 inches round circle and also rolled it a little bit thick. And then I put it into the tart mold and press it evenly from the bottom as well as the sides. I have not greased the tart mold, just pressed it a little bit and then pressed the other part of the mold too and gave it a push, and it was good enough. The tart starts shrinking a bit and going down, so I just try to push it up. There's no need to worry much about that, as we have added baking powder. While it's being cooked over the stove, it will rise from the sides as well. So I filled all the 7 cavities of the tart mold in the same way. And once that is done, I'll just put the lid over it and press it a little. This will make sure that the tarts get well shaped. And now let's cook it over the gas stove. Just like you would use a hand toaster, same way I'll keep the flame on medium flame and keep the tart mold over it. This tart mold is 7 inches, so it's quite large enough. I'll have to move it around the flame so that all the tart shells are well baked. Once well heated on one side, I'll flip it and do the same on the other side as well. This would take around 5 to 10 minutes to get a nice color to the tarts and to be cooked well from all sides. You can open up in between and check it as well. So that way you know where the tart mold needs to be heated more, and there are chances also of certain ones getting burned. You need to keep checking and keep moving it. As you can see, also some dough keeps coming out. That's because of the baking powder we have used in the dough. You may find certain place it gets cooked more and the other place less. So you need to adjust and cook it where it is not cooked well. Keep adjusting till you get a nice golden brown color to them. This looks done and I'll switch off the flame now. I will just get this out and keep them on a cooling rack so that it cools down completely. Once they are cool, they'll get a bit more crispier. So this eggless recipe is quite okay as compared to the previous attempts. Once the tarts are fully cooled down, you can put them in an airtight box. And the extra edges that which you got on top, you can just break it off. Once it's cool, they snap off easily. Or you can also use a pair of scissors and trim them off. Do let me know from which country you are watching and have you ever tried these tart molds. These handheld stovetop tart molds are available in many other countries as well. So do share your experience in the comments below. I would really like to hear from you as well. So this is done and now let's go to the next one which I have tried too. For the next try, I have tried it with some bread slices. Taken a bread slice and using a round cutter, just cut off the edges and get a round circle. And with the help of a rolling pin, I'll just flatten it a little bit. This will make the tart a little more firmer. Then using some melted butter, I'll just brush both the sides of the bread. Just like how you would toast a bread, the same way we would toast the tarts as well. So the butter will help it in getting crispy and the little brown effect on it. So prepare all the 7 slices in the same way and fill the tart molds. If you find it's curling it inside, that will get pressed once we press the lid of the tart mold over it. And once it's cooked, it will even get more even out. So I'll just try to push it a little bit from inside, especially the bottom part, and adjust the sides as well. Try to use the thicker slices of bread so that it does not break. I'll put the cover over and press it a little firmly so that it sets well. Once this is done, let's take it to the gas stove and cook it further there. For this method as well, I'll keep the flame on medium and place the tart mold over it and keep moving it on all sides so all the sides gets toasted well. I'll be flipping it on the other side too. These bread tarts remain crispy for a long time if they are well toasted. So I had to be a little patient and get it well toasted to make it really nice and crispy. Once they are done, you can switch off the flame and take them out of the mold and place them on a cooling rack. Once they are completely cool, they get nice and crispy. This bread tarts needs a little extra browning to make it nice and firm and crispy. You can also see the top edges which were curled before are now even out and they've got a good shape of the mold. I hope this method too would be useful some way or the other. So now let's try the third method. For these tart shells, I have taken half a cup of butter, that is 100 grams. This last recipe of the tart shell is the best from all the tries that I have done so far. So along with the butter, I'll be adding 2 tablespoons of powdered sugar here. You can add more sugar as well if you are making a sweet tart. But with the lesser sugar, you can use the tart shells for both sweet as well as savory filling. So now I'll whisk the butter and the sugar together till it's nice, pale and fluffy. This would take around 2 to 3 minutes till you get it nice and fluffy. I have used salted butter, so I have not added any salt here. Do add a pinch of salt if you are using unsalted butter. To this I'll be adding 1 whole egg and 1 teaspoon of vinegar. This vinegar is optional and you can skip it as well. And for some extra flavoring, you could add 1 teaspoon of vanilla essence as well. Now mix and combine all of it. I'll be whisking all the wet ingredients well for at least 2 minutes. You can also use an electric whisker here. I have not added vanilla essence here since I would like to use this for some savory tarts. So after 2 minutes of whisking, I'll just stop and add the dry ingredients. For the dry ingredients, I have taken 1½ cup of all-purpose flour, Maida, and to that I've added 1 teaspoon of baking powder. Combine both the ingredients well, and then we'll be adding it to the butter mixture. I'll be adding the flour a little at a time and mixing it well. Do let me know in the comments if you have tried any of these tart molds earlier. I would really love to make a good use of this tart mold in various other ways as well. And if you have any suggestions where I can improve on this recipe to make it more better, do let me know in the comments below. I had already posted a video on how to make Christmas basket. For that recipe too, I had made some tart shells. But that recipe somehow does not work for this tart mold. As the dough keeps getting thicker, it becomes difficult to whisk it further with the whisker. So I'll use the fork and mix it further. I have gradually added the flour into this mixture. I have not added any water or milk to mix this dough. As said earlier, I did not get any recipe along with this tart mold. So after much search, I've just adapted another recipe and tried to make this using this tart mold. So this tart mold would be useful for those who do not have an oven and would prefer doing it over a gas stove. Once I've done with the fork, I'll start using my hands and knead it to a nice soft dough. This dough is easy to make as it comes together very easily. I will knead this for a minute or so. So now this is done and you can see it's very nice and soft. I'll keep this to rest for 5 minutes and then after 5 minutes we'll start making the tarts. After 5 minutes I will just grease the mold with little butter. You can also use some oil to brush it. There is no need to grease the mold every time you use it. Just one time is enough. I will knead the dough for a few seconds before we could start making the tarts. Since I'll be rolling it out, I'll divide this dough into 2 parts. I tried doing this tarts without the rolling method too. I taken a small lemon-sized ball of this dough and put it in the tart mold and pressed the both sides. But unfortunately it did not spread and become in the shape of a tart. So now I'm rolling it quite thick enough so that I can cut out roundels and then place it into the mold. So now I have taken a round cutter that is 2½ inches in diameter. This size fits perfect for this mold. This dough is more like of a cookie dough. You can check out the thickness. This is 1/2 centimeter or 1/4 inch in thickness. So I'll prepare all the circles of the same type and of the same thickness and keep it ready. The leftover scrap, you can knead it again and cut out more circles like this same way. Once you have prepared all of it, then start placing it into the mold. We need to press this a little bit at the bottom and even at the sides. So I'll fill all of the 7 cavities in the same way. Once this is done, I'll just cover it with the other part of the tart mold and press it a little from the top. And I'll show you how well this gets set inside. So now back to the gas stove for further baking. Same as the previous way, I will keep moving this all over the flame so that it bakes evenly. I have kept the flame on medium and this would take around 7 to 8 minutes and I'll be flipping it and cooking it on both sides. You can open and see it if it is getting burned on a particular side. Adjust the mold evenly over the flame so that all the tartlets get cooked well. I hope I'm doing it right, and if you have any suggestion, please mention that in the comments below. You can see that they begin to get a little brown. So you need to adjust the places where they have not got brown as yet and give more time on that part so that all the tarts are baked well. So around approximate after 8 minutes, these look completely done. And these have got a nice beautiful golden color from the top. Switch off the flame and get it out. I will place all these on the cooling rack till they are completely cold. Once they are cool completely, you can use them as you like. These tart shells are the tastiest from the rest. And they look good as well. To make this smaller tart, you can use a 2 inches round cutter. And the rest I had made with the 2.5 inch round circle cutter. Though these are not so perfect, but these are definitely better than the rest. These are even more crispier and has got a nice biscuit-like texture. This would definitely go good with any sweet or savory tart filling. I will leave the link for this tart mold in the description box below. So if you do not have an oven and would like to buy this, you can definitely check the link below. I'll be waiting for your suggestions in the comments below. Thanks for watching and seeing you soon for the next video. Till then, take care. Bye-bye.